Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hello if you're new here. This is a flip through video of all my completed coloring pages since my last one in 2020. I kept waiting to accumulate more pages. I kept thinking I didn't have enough to do this. And then today I decided I was going to do it. I went through all my books. I have quite a few. So this is going to be completed pages and works in progress. So this first one is from Lost Ocean by Johanna Basford. And this is a page I completed in their double page spread. This background was done with Neocolor 2s, which are a dissolvable crayon. And the white is Posca pen. I do have a video on how I did the gold and the mother of pearl effects on this page. And then the center here, these kind of porthole thingies, I did with watercolor pencil. And I think that was the Goldfaber, the Faber-Castell Goldfaber watercolor pencils, which I really like. I really like that line. So that's that. Okay, let's just stick with Johanna Basford for a bit. So here's Johanna's Christmas. So this is a page I did out of this book. This was done, I think the background is the background is just watercolor. I thought it was Neocolor too. It's just watercolor. Cotman and Newman's, is that what it's called? Just their smallest watercolor pan. It's a couple of the blues mixed together. And the pencils are Prismacolor. I did run out of one of the pencils I was using. I used it all the way to the nib and it was late at night and I couldn't go to the store to get a new one. So I finished with a Castle Art. So there is a Castle Art pencil in here somewhere. It's one of the reds, I think. So the Castle Arts blend very well with the Prismacolors I found. So that's some good information for you. And the white everywhere is Posca. And then in Johanna Basford's Worlds of Wonder, I think I only have one page in this one so far. So this background is Neocolor 2s. And then I've started shading with, it looks like Polychromos. That doesn't look like Prismacolor. So this is Polychromos and Neocolor 2s. And that's a work in progress. And I think that's it for that book. Oh no, and then there was this one, which I do have a video for. So that's the lemon page. This is all Prismacolor and Posca and Tombow marker. So I do have a process page for this one if you're curious how I colored that. World of Flowers. This is just a work in progress. This is a slow work in progress that I just pull out when I'm feeling like coloring but don't know what to color. I usually just pull out this page and work a little bit while I'm watching TV or something. So just a little bit at a time. This is Tombow marker and Polychromos so far. Is there anything else in this one? No, I showed that one before. That one was done before. I don't remember if I showed this one or not in the last video. This is when my Neocolor 2s were brand new. So that's what that background is. And I actually think most of this was done with Neocolor 2s with maybe some Prismacolor on top. And these are Derwent Inktense. These flowers actually might be Inktense. I think the background is Neocolor 2 and the rest of it might be Inktense. I don't remember. I think it's Inktense. I think the Inktense I just got for my birthday were new. And I might have showed that page before. And if I did, I would know in that video. That video would be more accurate. In Maria Trolle's Luna, I have done one page. This jungle page. This was done with Prismacolor, Tombow marker in the background. I think that's it. And Posca. Prismacolor, Tombow, and Posca. Alright, I know I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, but I assume it's Zemlja Snova. I don't know. By Tomislav Tomić. And I have two pages done in this one. So there's this one here, which was done with Polychromos and Posca. And I have some time-lapse videos of this page. I don't think I finished it on YouTube, but there are some videos. And then this one's more recent. This page was done with Prismacolors. Nope. Polychromos. This page was done with Polychromos. and Posca. I used a brush nib Posca for the first time. That was pretty cool. And a lot of these color combinations came from Olivia Odorant, and she has a Patreon. I followed one of her Patreon tutorials for some of the ship colors, as well as the cloud colors and the sea colors. That was a fun one to do. I really liked doing this page. So Polychromos and Posca. Moving right along, this is Minuet de Bonheur. By, I think the artist's name is Kanoko Egusa. I'll write it down correctly. So this page is Polychromos, and it looks like gel pen. It doesn't look like Posca. Up here might be Posca. This looks like gel pen here. So, and I think there might have been, was there another one in here? I think there's a work in progress in this book also. Yeah. This is a page I started for how to use a set of 24 color pencils. So this is all colored with just a set of 24 Prismacolor pencils. And I've got videos on how I achieved that. Okay, next out of Romantic Country, the third tale, I've got this work in progress that I started probably last Christmas. This is Inktense, I believe. It's some kind of watercolor medium. I think it's Inktense. So that's a work in progress. And in the first Romantic Country book, I completed this double page spread. So this was done with Prismacolor and also distress inks. So I laid down a layer of distress inks for the background and then did Prismacolor on top for the like hay and wheat in the background. Then Posca, I used different color ivory and like a cream colored Posca down here for the wheat stalks and some of the details there. This is a sky and a wheat field. I'm realizing now that that's really difficult to tell, so it might be nice to go in later and just create more differentiation at that horizon line. But otherwise, this was colored with Prismacolor and Posca. This was the first time I think I had branched out from just a white Posca and used different color Posca pens on a page. And I do have a video for how I colored this nightgown and this pair of overalls. Moving on to Hanna Karlzon. Here is Tales from the Forest Kingdom. It's disappeared. I love this book. Oh my goodness, I want to color more in this book. There it is. Here is the bug. This was done with Polychromos and Distress Inks and Posca. And I did use a reference photo for the bug. Reference photos are not cheating. That's how you get better. And then Tales from the Witch's Cottage by Hanna Karlzon. This is the Swedish edition. So here is work in progress that we are currently coloring on YouTube right now. So I've got walkthroughs for pretty much everything on this page except the background. And this page is being done currently with Prismacolor, and we'll use Posca, and we'll see what else happens. This is Seasons from Hanna Karlzon. And I have completed this page. The background is Neocolor 2s, and then we put down Tombow marker on the books and candles and colored on top with Prismacolor. There's also Posca. I think I used Polychromos for the fur because Prismacolor is so soft, it's hard to keep the point of the pencil. And so when I do things like fur, I prefer to use a harder pencil that keeps its point easier. So I used Polychromos on the fur. Okay, this is from the Dungeons and Dragons coloring book, which I actually like more than I thought that I would. The paper is halfway decent, and I like a lot of the line art. So here's a page that I did. This is kind of a rainbow scheme. So I did this with Inktense. First I laid down the color as kind of a green to red gradient, and then activated it with water. Afterward, went over it with a white pencil and a black pencil to do some more shading. and then added Posca for some little highlights and details. So that was kind of a fun project. There's a page that I started in this Lord of the Rings coloring book of Galadriel. I started this a while ago. Here it is. So that's just a rough work in progress. This is polychromos. And we've got the page of the Sanderson sisters from the Art of Coloring Hocus Pocus book. This was done with Tombow markers and polychromos and Posca and Neocolor 2s. And last but not least, we've got from the Nouveau Fantasy Special. This is a Coloring Heaven issue. These pages are done by Leonard. He also has an Etsy where you can buy individual pages. This was done with Artesas. When I first got the Artesas, I pulled them out and colored this page. It's not quite finished, but it's almost there. I don't know if I'll return and finish this one. I do like the Artesas. They're a nice budget pencil, but since I've got the Prismacolors and the Polychromos, I just find myself reaching for those way more often. They blend more and you can get more layers out of them. So this is a really nice option if you're on a budget, but I don't find myself reaching for them quite as much. So I think that's all my completed coloring pages and works in progress at the moment. I'm sure there's probably a couple scragglers I didn't find as I was grabbing books for this video. But if you like this content, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and check out my Instagram to follow when I've got completed pages being posted.